Hey there, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of solar energy,
Okay.
specifically the role of a solar power plant operator.
Right.
You've clearly got the sun on your mind, and you've sent over some great resources to help us explore this further.
Uh-huh.
A detailed career guide,
Okay.
some interview tips,
Right.
and even some info about a platform called RoleCatcher.
Interesting.
It seems like you're ready to make a bright career move.
It's a fantastic time to be thinking about this field.
Yeah.
The renewable energy sector is booming,
Wow.
and solar power is leading the charge.
It really does feel like a pivotal moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I can see why you're drawn to this particular role.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine harnessing the power of the sun playing a key role in providing clean energy. That's what a solar power plant operator gets to do.
Right.
The guide you sent over describes it as operating and maintaining the equipment that transforms sunlight into electricity.
That's right. And it's much more dynamic than it might sound at first. You're not just flipping switches. You're conducting a symphony of sorts,
Oh, right.
ensuring a smooth and continuous flow of clean energy.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So tell me what makes this role so important in today's world.
Well, for starters, we're in the midst of a global energy transition.
Right.
The need to move away from fossil fuels has never been more urgent, and solar power is a critical part of that solution.
Okay.
Solar power plant operators are on the front lines of this transition, helping to build a more sustainable energy future.
So you're not just keeping the lights on, you're contributing to a larger purpose, working towards energy independence and a healthier planet.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
What does a typical day actually look like for a solar power plant operator?
Right.
Because it's not just about basking in the sun all day, right?
Definitely not. It's a fascinating blend of hands-on technical work and data analysis.
Interesting.
Think of it this way. You have these massive solar arrays, and each panel is feeding into a system that converts sunlight into usable electricity. As an operator, you're monitoring systems like SCADA, that stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, which gives you a real-time view of how the entire plant is performing.
SCADA, that sounds high-tech.
It is.
And what else are you keeping an eye on?
You're also looking at the performance of inverters, which convert the DC electricity generated by the panels into AC electricity that can be fed into the grid.
Okay.
You're monitoring weather conditions because obviously sunny days are your bread and butter, but you need to be prepared for fluctuations in sunlight.
So there's a lot of data to analyze and interpret.
Yes.
You really need to be a solar detective of sorts, constantly monitoring, troubleshooting, and optimizing.
Precisely. And this is where those problem-solving skills come in handy.
Like-
Let's say you notice a dip in energy production.
Okay.
Is it a faulty panel? A problem with the inverter? Maybe some cloud cover is affecting output.
Uh-huh.
You need to identify the source of the issue and find a solution quickly.
And I imagine that it takes a good understanding of electrical systems and mechanical aptitude, too.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with a lot of complex equipment.
Absolutely.
The guide you provided highlighted those skills as essential.
Yeah.
Strong mechanical aptitude for working with the physical components of the plant and a solid grasp of electrical systems to understand the flow of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, analytical skills are crucial for making sense of all that performance data.
For sure.
So you need to be comfortable getting your hands dirty sometimes, literally, if you're out in the elements, but also comfortable working with data and technology.
That's a great way to put it. And this brings us to something else you mentioned earlier,
Okay.
the platform RoleCatcher.
Right.
It sounds like you've come across this while researching the job market.
I have. It seems like this platform could be incredibly helpful for someone considering this career.
From what you've shared, it sounds like
Yeah.
platforms like RoleCatcher highlight a crucial aspect of job hunting today, the role of technology and AI.
I was particularly intrigued by the AI-powered interview practice. I bet that's helpful for calming those pre-interview jitters.
Oh, yeah.
Were you nervous about interviewing before you found this listener?
It's a game changer, really.
Yeah.
AI can analyze your responses, provide feedback on your body language, and even offer suggestions for improvement.
Wow.
It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
That's amazing.
But getting back to the role itself,
Great.
let's talk about the career trajectory.
Right.
The guide you shared outlines a clear path for growth, from entry-level positions to senior roles with greater responsibility.
Right. It's not like you're stuck in one spot forever.
Right.
So let's break that down a bit.
Okay.
Where might someone start in this field?
You're likely to begin as an assistant operator or technician.
Okay.
In this role, you'd be assisting more experienced operators learning the ropes and getting familiar with the day-to-day operations of a solar power plant.
So you're really starting from the ground up.
Yeah, think of it as a solar apprenticeship. You might be helping with routine maintenance monitoring equipment and gradually taking on more responsibility.
So you're getting your hands dirty troubleshooting, alongside seasoned pros really learning the ins and outs of the technology.
Exactly.
What comes next as you gain more experience?
As you progress, you might move into a mid-level operator role.
Okay.
Here, you're taking on more responsibility for the plant's performance.
Okay.
You'll be analyzing data in greater depth, optimizing energy output,
Hmm.
maybe even training newer operators.
So you're moving up in the ranks.
Yes.
Yes.
The guide mentioned that troubleshooting at this level becomes more complex, too.
So instead of just identifying a faulty panel, you might be figuring out why a whole string of panels isn't performing optimally.
Right.
That's a whole other level of problem solving.
Exactly. And this is where your understanding of things like grid-tied systems comes into play.
Okay.
You're not just focused on individual components, you're thinking about how the plant interacts with the larger electrical grid.
That makes sense. So if a mid-level operator is like the conductor of a section of the solar orchestra who's leading the whole symphony.
That would be the senior solar power plant operator. They're responsible for the overall performance and safety of the entire plant.
Wow.
They're managing teams, making strategic decisions about maintenance and upgrades, and staying ahead of the curve on industry trends.
That sounds like a role that requires not only deep technical expertise, but also leadership skills and a strategic mindset.
Right.
You're not just reacting to problems,
Yeah.
you're anticipating them and planning for the future.
Precisely. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of this field.
Okay.
It's continuous learning.
Okay.
The solar industry is constantly innovating.
Hmm.
New technologies emerge, best practices evolve, and you need to stay ahead of the curve.
So how do you stay up to date?
Well, the guide mentions specific certifications that can boost your credentials.
Can you tell us more about those?
Absolutely. One highly regarded certification is the NABCEP PV Installation Professional Certification.
Okay.
NABCEP stands for the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners.
Okay.
This certification is well respected in the industry and demonstrates your expertise in photovoltaic systems.
So it's like a stamp of approval from the experts, showing potential employers that you have the knowledge and skills to design and install solar systems safely and effectively.
Exactly. And then there are safety certifications, such as those offered by OSHA,
So,
the Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
okay.
These certifications are essential for anyone working in an environment with potential hazards like electrical equipment or working at heights.
Safety first.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about the technical skills, the certifications, and the career progression.
Right.
But let's not forget those less tangible qualities that can make all the difference.
Yeah.
What are some personality traits that might make someone particularly well suited for this line of work?
That's a great question. This is a field that rewards adaptability.
Okay.
As we've discussed, technology is constantly evolving, and you need to be comfortable learning new things and adjusting to change.
It's not a job for someone who's set in their ways or afraid to embrace new challenges.
Exactly. And it's also a field that requires a strong sense of responsibility. You're dealing with systems that generate clean energy for communities and businesses. Reliability is crucial.
So you need to be someone who takes pride in their work, who understands the importance of precision and attention to detail.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about problem solving.
Right.
We've touched on this throughout our deep dive, but it's worth emphasizing again.
Okay.
Being able to think critically, troubleshoot issues efficiently, and come up with creative solutions is essential for a solar power plant operator.
So to sum it up, you need to be a tech-savvy troubleshooter, adaptable to change, and deeply committed to providing clean, reliable energy.
You've got it. And if those qualities resonate with you, then this might just be the career path you've been looking for.
Now, I know you've been researching this field quite a bit, and you came across this intriguing platform called RoleCatcher.
Right.
It seems like this tool can be a real asset throughout the job hunting process.
From what you've described, it sounds like in a competitive job market, anything that gives you an edge is worth exploring.
It really does feel like RoleCatcher could be a game changer, especially for someone just starting out in their job search.
Yeah.
From what I've read, it can help you pinpoint your ideal career path within the solar industry
Mm-hmm.
and identify specific companies that are hiring.
Right.
It's like having a personalized roadmap for your career journey.
And remember those AI-powered features we talked about earlier?
Yeah,
The resume builder and the interview practice?
right.
Those can be incredibly valuable in today's competitive job market.
That's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
It is.
You can tailor your resume to specific job descriptions, practice your interview skills, and get personalized feedback, all with the help of AI.
Right.
Honestly, where was this kind of technology when we were starting out?
Right. It's amazing to see how technology is changing the landscape of job hunting.
Yeah.
But speaking of technology, I think it's worth circling back to the idea of emerging niches within the solar industry. That's something you'll want to be aware of as you explore your options.
That's a great point. We've mainly focused on traditional solar power plants.
Right.
But there's a whole world of innovation happening within this field.
Exactly. Like,
Okay.
take agrivoltaics, for example. It's a fascinating concept where solar panels are installed on farmland, allowing for both crop production and energy generation on the same land.
So you're essentially creating a symbiotic relationship between agriculture and solar energy. That's brilliant.
It is. And then there are floating solar farms, large-scale solar installations built on bodies of water like reservoirs or lakes. This technology is particularly promising in areas where land availability is limited.
It's incredible to see how solar is being integrated into different environments.
Hmm.
I imagine these specialized niches might require additional skills or knowledge.
They certainly can.
Like what?
For instance, working in agrivoltaics might require an understanding of both agricultural practices and solar energy systems, and floating solar farms present unique engineering and environmental considerations.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all field.
Right.
You can really carve out a niche for yourself based on your interests and skills.
Precisely. And that's something to keep in mind as you explore your options. Don't be afraid to delve into those specialized areas. You might just find your perfect fit.
And who knows, you might even be commanding a higher salary in one of these emerging fields.
Maybe so.
But let's talk about the bigger picture for a
Yes.
moment. As we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways you want to leave our listener with?
I think the most important takeaway is this. If you're passionate about renewable energy and excited by the idea of working with cutting-edge technology, then a career as a solar power plant operator could be an incredibly rewarding path.
Okay.
The demand for skilled professionals in this field is only going to grow, and the work itself is both challenging and meaningful.
It's a chance to be at the forefront of a global energy transition, to play a role in building a more sustainable future.
Absolutely.
And it's a career with tangible skills, recognized certifications, and a clear path for advancement.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about technical expertise.
Right.
Adaptability, problem-solving skills, and a strong work ethic are equally important. And don't be afraid to explore those emerging niches within the field. You might just discover a hidden passion.
I love that. It's about finding that sweet spot where your interests and skills align with the needs of this rapidly evolving industry.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of solar power plant operators.
Wow, that was fun.
We hope you found this exploration illuminating and feel empowered to chase those solar-powered dreams.
It's a bright future out there.
Beautifully said. Until next time, keep those curiosity lights shining bright.